Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And this is the book that I'll be reading from, Tales My Lama Told Me. This is by Pastor David Lai. The stories within are from our Guru, His Eminence the 25th Sam Tuku Rinpoche. Today I'll be continuing on with the chapter 14th, These Hard Times. And currently it's on Rinpoche's stepmother, or sorry, not stepmother, adoptive mother in New Jersey. Okay, this is page 132. And let me share a picture with you. There you go. Yes, this is Rinpoche's adoptive parents, Dana and Boris Bugayev. Thank you. Okay, page 132. By nature, she was actually very creative and skillful with her hands. At home, she would reupholster all our furniture by herself. She did that on her own so that we could save money. She would rip off all the old upholstery and reupholster each piece of furniture by hand. The covers of the double-seater, the single-seater, and the reclining chair would be ripped off one at a time. I was totally amazed with her handiwork. You must remember that behind all that, she was illiterate, as she was born in Yugoslavia during the Second World War and never went to school. Although she was illiterate, it didn't stop her from being good with her hands. She would even change the wallpaper herself every few years. She would rip out all the old wallpaper in every part of the house and put up brand new wallpaper. The process would take her 1 to 2 months as she did it all by herself. No one would be there to help her because I had to go to school, and when I came home, I would have to clean up while she worked on the wallpaper. Once she removed all the old towels on the floor and replaced them with vinyl flooring. At that time, vinyl floors in America were quite nice, and they even looked like tiles. She would do all that by herself with her own bare hands. My mother was also an excellent gardener. She had half an acre of land around the house to tend. On the land, we planted flowers, trees, shrubs, roses, fruits, and vegetables. Anything she planted would just grow and bloom. We had a 4 bedroom, 2-story colonial house that had 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs, a dining room, bathroom, and guest rooms downstairs. It was a traditional big American house which was built by hand just as it was more affordable for us. My mother was fond of the house and often found ways to improve it. She was also a skilled painter. She would paint the whole exterior of the house, working from the ladder. She would cover the whole of the upstairs and downstairs, the shutters of the windows and the window sills. There wasn't anything that she couldn't do. She even sold her own dresses. She didn't sew her own dresses because she couldn't afford new ones. She sold her own dresses because she was just so good with her hands. Sometimes there would be certain dresses she wanted for a party or wedding which weren't available in the stores, so she would make her own. I would watch all that as a child. Despite her many talents, my father used to put her down a lot, saying she couldn't read. So she taught herself to read. She did that by reading comic books. She amassed a whole collection of comic books, DC comics like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Casper. She would read them every single night while I served her, cooked for her, and brought her tea. She liked a special type of tea, but initially she didn't like the special mixture I made. So I had to perfect it, make sure it was just the way she liked it, and bring it up to her. I would also clear out her room. She was a very ill person, as she had undergone 7 major operations and she would take 10 to 15 types of medication per day. She remained frail throughout her life. My father didn't appreciate her very much and would treat her very badly. He would put her down, denigrate her, and wouldn't do anything in the house to help her. He didn't want or know how to cook. I am not exaggerating when I say that he did not know even how to boil water or make tea. He did not know how to clean or do any type of laundry. He never once helped her with any of the gardening, housework, or painting. He literally did nothing at home for her. He would come home from work and just sit there, waiting to be served. By the way, my mother did all that and worked in a job as well. Apparently, this was the Mongolian way, and she never fought back. It was just how she was brought up, and I watched all this. I was left in their care, and by then, after my stepsister left home, I was all alone. She was 18 or 19 years old and ran away because she couldn't take it anymore. I only found out years later that my stepfather had been abusing her. I had no other siblings and I had to do everything on my own. When I was around 7 or 8 years old, all the chores were passed to me. This included doing all the gardening, laundry, and housework. Every single day, it would take me about 2 hours after school to complete all the chores. On weekends, it would take me all day to take care of the gardening, as the garden was huge and there were so many plants and flowers to tend to. I was literally given everything to do, and I had to do it well or I would get it from my stepmother. Some of the gardening chores I had to do were to remove all the little weeds in the front garden, remove the dead leaves, rake the garden, and make sure that the delicate flowers were in good condition. I would have to make sure there was no cat or dog pee on the flowers because that would make the flowers die, and I would get it. At the vegetable garden behind the house, we had sunflowers, cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, peas, and several other vegetables. I would have to go back there with a huge shovel, dig up fresh earth from another part of the huge garden, and wheelbarrow 20 to 30 loads of dirt back and forth to the vegetable garden. I would have to make sure I didn't bring over any rocks and roots, and that the dirt was not too light or too dark. She was very particular about this. I grew up in an environment where I had to have extreme awareness and attention to detail and to look out for everything. If I didn't, or if I made any mistake, the first warning I would get was a fierce look from her. Then I would get a severe scolding. The second time around, it would be a severe beating. By the third time, I would probably be locked up in the house for a few weeks under house arrest. As a child, I had to be very aware to avoid all this. If I damaged anything while doing housework or gardening, for example, if any of the flowers were damaged or any plants wilted in the garden, it would all fall upon me. Whether it was my fault or not didn't really matter. I would be severely punished by her regardless. During the summer months, it would take a longer time to do the gardening. It would take more than 3 hours because there was more to do during that time. So I would spend at least 3 hours a day watering, weeding, and cleaning the plants from the front to the back garden. I had to work on half an acre of land about every 2 to 3 weeks. I would have to cut all the grass with the lawn mower. That would take me half a day. Then I had to place all the grass cuttings in bags and pile them neatly at the garbage area. At the end of the day, there would be about 15 to 16 garbage bags full of grass in the front. They had to be piled neatly. If they weren't, or if a bag fell out and wasn't tied well, I would get my first warning. Okay, I will stop here and continue on with the story in my next chapter. Next reading. So thank you for joining me, and find out more about Rinpoche's life when he was younger in Howell, New Jersey, under the adoptive family. Okay, I'll end this with a completion dedication in English. May the precious body mind, where it is born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious emptiness, where it is born, arise. It is not born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May this merit accumulated by myself and others beneficially serve all sentient beings and the Buddha Dhamma, and especially may the essential teachings of the unerring Master Tsongkhapa become clear and enduring. In all my rebirths may I not be parted from perfect gurus. Let me enjoy the abundance of the Dhamma, perfecting the quality stages and paths. May I quickly attain the rank of Vajradhara Buddha. By this virtue may I quickly realize Guru Buddhahood and transfer each sentient being into the enlightened state. May all conducive conditions arise and all obstacles be pacified in order to increase infinitely the doctrine of the spiritual King Tsongkhapa. By the merits of the 3 times of myself and others, may the doctrine of Lama Tsongkhapa blaze forever. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessing. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the paths of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. May the holy teachers have long lives. May the enlightened activities be fully displayed in the 10 directions. And may the brightness of the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa continuously dissipate the veil of darkness covering the beings of the 3 realms. In this land encircled by snow mountains, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in this life until samsara's end. Whom grant me here and now appropriate attainments without exception. Grant increase of the entourage, teachings and wealth, O mighty Shukden. Thank you for joining me, and please do join me next week as I continue on with the chapter.